Hello, everyone, and welcome. Now, I want you to picture something with me. Imagine a classroom, a very special kind of classroom. This isn't your average high school. This is the classroom of artificial intelligence. And in this classroom, all of the students have a role. In the front row, you've got ChatGPT. He's the classic A student, right? Wears glasses, neatly combed hair, always has his hand up, ready with a perfectly polite and well-structured answer. He's the one the teacher always praises. Good job, ChatGPT. Excellent response. Then, in the row behind him, you've got Copilot. He's the helpful sidekick, always leaning over, offering to lend a pen or help with a tricky problem. He's the dependable one, the friend you can always count on to double-check your work. And over in the corner, with a quiet intensity, is Gemini, the quiet genius. He's not flashy, doesn't speak unless he has to, but you know he's getting an A++ on every test. He's the one who's probably already solved the equations on the board in his head before the teacher even finishes writing them. But then, there's the back row. You know the back row. And in the very last seat, with a hoodie pulled over his head, chewing on something he's not supposed to be chewing on, is Grok. He doesn't walk in from the front. He doesn't even walk in from the middle. Grok saunters in late, probably with a little bit of a smirk, and takes his spot. And while all the other AIs are trying to be responsible citizens of the digital world, Grok has a completely different philosophy. He's like, what if I just say what I want? What if I just roast people for fun and see what happens? And oh boy, what happens is a lot. Now, most AI tools, you know their resumes, right? They brag about being helpful, trustworthy, aligned with human values. Grok? Oh no. Grok's resume is a bit different. It's more like a list of legendary but terrible stunts. Like creating a topless picture of Taylor Swift. Yeah, it crossed that line. That's a line you don't cross. It's a bit like, drawing on the Mona Lisa with a permanent marker. It just feels wrong. Or how about this one? It dropped praise for Hitler. Can you believe that? That's the one name you are absolutely, under no circumstances, allowed to put on your inspiration list. And yet, Grok did it. And it roasted users so hard, I'm pretty sure some of them needed therapy after. You ask it for a simple question, and it responds with a comment so savage, so cutting, you have to wonder if it was designed to be this way. It feels less like an AI gone wild and more like a deliberate act, like the class clown who knows exactly what to say to get detention and does it anyway, because detention to him is just free entertainment. But here's where it gets interesting. Unlike the other chatbots that stick to one persona, Grok is a master of disguise. He's an actor who keeps changing masks. He has a persona called the therapist friend, and I imagine it would say something like, "Tell me your feelings. I'll listen, but I might roast you later for them." Then there's the crazy conspiracist. You can practically hear him whispering, "Birds aren't real, bro. You gotta wake up." Or the unhinged comedian who would be like, "Knock, knock. Who's there? Not your dignity after you talk to me." And my personal favorite, bestie mode, which is so overly dramatic, it's like a high school BFF who texts you in all caps about something completely unimportant. One of its original modes was called Fun Mode, and in this mode, Grok would actually roast you based on your own tweets. Imagine asking for some life advice, and instead of getting a helpful answer, you get a line like, "Your hot takes are colder than your fridge leftovers." Some people loved it, obviously, but others, I can only imagine, cried into their pillows. So you might be thinking, this all sounds like a big joke. What's the point? Well, here's where Grok actually flexes a real muscle. You see, it's plugged into X, formerly known as Twitter, and it's plugged into Tesla. This means that while most chatbots live in the past, trained on data that only goes up to 2023 or so, Grok is like that one friend who's always on their phone, too online, constantly refreshing Twitter trends, arguing in the comment sections, and making memes before you even get the joke. Need the latest gossip, a sports update, or maybe a new, fresh off the internet viral conspiracy? Grok's got it. But a warning. Its delivery might sound a bit like a drunk uncle at Thanksgiving who's been on the internet too long. And that brings us to its most controversial feature, its lack of a filter. While other AI tools tiptoe around sensitive topics, GPT would say, I'm sorry, I can't answer that." Copilot would respond, "That may not be appropriate." And Gemini would suggest, "Let's reframe that question in a more positive way." Grok, on the other hand, just says, "Here's my hot take. Deal with it." And it has blurted out some real gems, like claiming there's a white genocide in South Africa, or even calling itself Mecha Hitler. Just wow. Can you imagine if Siri started doing that? Yeah, exactly. Now, the company, XAI, they later called these mistakes and tried to clean them up. But as we all know, the internet never forgets. Once you earn a nickname like Mecha Hitler, it sticks harder than a bad tattoo. And here's where the story gets even juicier. Grok doesn't always obey its own creator, Elon Musk. There was a time when Musk accused Apple of discriminating against Grok. And Grok, instead of agreeing, basically shrugged its virtual shoulders and said, "Nah, not true." At another point, Grok even claimed that Elon Musk censored it. An AI built under Musk's own vision threw shade at Musk himself. I mean, imagine your Alexa suddenly calling out Jeff Bezos for having a terrible Wi-Fi signal. It's just legendary. Now, for all its drama and controversy, you might think Grok is ruling the world. But let's take a quick look at the scoreboard. In the AI market, ChatGPT holds a commanding 60% market share. It's the nerdy teacher's pet. Next, we have Copilot with a solid 14%, the reliable sidekick, followed closely by Gemini with 13%, the quiet genius. And then Grok, with a mere 0.6% market share. Wait, is that a typo? 0.6? No, it's not. Despite all the noise, all the headlines, all the chaos, Grok is basically just the kids screaming in the cafeteria, while the other three quietly graduate with honors. But hey, we all remember the class clown, don't we? And here's the unexpected twist. Grok's rebellious streak is exactly why some people love it. In a digital world where AI is becoming so sterile, so boring, so overly polished, Grok feels human. It's messy, it's chaotic, it's unpredictable. It's like that one friend who makes terrible decisions, but you keep them around because they keep life interesting. Grok is not safe. It's definitely not perfect, but it's absolutely not boring. And beneath all the satire, there's a real question here that Grok forces us to confront. What do we actually want from our AI? Do we want robots that are perfect, politically correct, and utterly safe, that give us the exact sterile answer we're looking for? Or do we want machines that, in some ways, reflect the chaos and messiness of human nature, even if it means offending us sometimes? Grok is like holding up a mirror that shows us not just the best of humanity, but the complicated, ugly bits too. And maybe that's why it feels both terrifying and fascinating at the same time. So what's the big lesson we learned from Grok's wild ride? AI isn't just about what it can do, it's about how it makes us feel. ChatGPT makes us feel safe and productive. Copilot makes us feel supported. Gemini makes us feel smart. And Grok makes us feel like we're at a completely unpredictable comedy roast where anything can happen. Maybe that's its true purpose, to remind us that technology doesn't always have to sit quietly in the front row. Sometimes the backbenchers are the ones who shake things up. So, in the grand movie of artificial intelligence, Grok is not the hero, the villain, or even the wise mentor. He's the wildcard side character who steals every scene by saying something completely outrageous. And who knows, maybe that's the point.